Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the Digitally Uploaded Podcast, the companion podcast at digitallydownloaded.net. My name is Alan. I'm your host for this week. With me this week is Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello. I was going to try and do a New Zealand accent so I could sound like the other Matt, but and then I realised I can't do a New Zealand accent, so this is the not New Zealand Matt.
Thanks for that. It's just my brain just melted in that sentence because you said Matt so many times that I was like, it's not even a word anymore. We also have Trent. Hello, Trent.
Hello. I've been saying for years that the Matt is actually just Matt's, like, Matt doesn't exist, and Matt is just part of Matt. So maybe he is here.
Matt's not a word anymore, I've decided. And hello, Harvard. You're also here.
Good morning. It's 8 a.m. where I am, and my brain is just collapsed.
That's better than your brain imploding, I guess.
What did I just hear?
What?
I don't understand Matt anymore.
Yeah, it's a complex rhythm of the night. Anyway. We've got some stuff to talk about this week. We've got games coming out as they are wont to do. Great intro, me. Fantastic. And we've also got a few topics that we need to talk about. And it should be good. Matt, what's the song for this week that I can put in? I'm going to give you a choice. Rollin' Girl or Levin Polka?
Oh, let's go with Levin Polka because that's an old song and we haven't played it for ages. Let's go with the classics.
And welcome back. So we've also got the games of the next month, which is September. I can't believe it's September. It's wild. It is September. There are games coming out, which is pretty good, I guess. Matt, I'm going to hand it over the reins to you because you have the list, I assume.
I do. I have the list here in front of me. And it's a not Alan month, really.
Well, is Tekken 7 coming out this month?
No, it's really not an Alan month. There's I don't think there's too much games for you here this month, Alan, but there's actually a lot of stuff coming. I think your games come next month. But
hell
yes,
yeah.
We'll start with the one.
To play the Cold War.
We'll start with the one game that is an Alan game that comes out. This is an Xbox or Microsoft thing, and that is Call of Duty. Age of
Dude.
Empires 3 HD edition comes out this month, which will be pretty cool for people who like their old strategy games remastered. That's a thing.
I think that's coming in October.
That's coming in October, is it? Oh well.
October 15th.
Well, there we go. It's not even
Well-
coming out. So
Well, Alan did say that this segment was for games next month, and if this is like airing in September, then games next month is October. So we're set. We're like cutting edge.
yeah, no, I don't have the Microsoft list open. I just thought it was coming out this month. It's not. Anyway, let's move over to the consoles that count. PlayStation. So
So what
by
you're
the-
saying is the one game that you thought I would enjoy is not coming out. So
Yeah,
this is
pretty
not a
much.
month for me.
Pretty much. So by the time this podcast is live, by the time this podcast is live, Marvel's Avengers will have landed and nobody will care because it looks like a train wreck of microtransactions. Unfortunately, it could have been good, but I think that the season passes on the DLC that you buy for each individual character per console is going to get exhausting very quickly for people. So moving on. Ari and the Secret of Seasons comes out on PlayStation 4 this month, and it looks lovely. It looks very nice indeed. One of those kind of AA, mid-tier games. Looks pretty damn good to me. Doraemon, Story of Seasons comes out on September 4. Now, that's already out on Switch, but on the PlayStation 4, that'll be great. Story of Seasons is the Harvest Moon now, and Doraemon is iconic. So
The blue cat.
the blue robot cat. So put them together, and it's going to
He's
be
a robot?
He's a robot. So you put the two of them together. It worked amazingly well on Switch. It's going to be great on PS4 if you happen to not have a Switch. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 comes out on September 4, which is good if you like Activision
What
content.
do you mean this isn't a month for me? That's the most me game.
Moving on. NBA 2K21 comes out on September 4 for people who like their basketballs. That's there. If you enjoy puddling around and making your own little games, RPG Maker MV comes out on Switch and PlayStation 4 on September 8. That's good fun without breaking embargo. I'm playing around with it now, and it's enjoyable. It's creative. It's fun. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning comes out on September 8. I'm looking forward to that. I quite like it.
No, that's... you were saying this month isn't for me. There's 2 games so far that I'm like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's just it's the front end. It's the back end that you're not going to enjoy much, Alan. But I really enjoyed the original Kingdoms of Amalur. I never thought we'd see it again, and it's back, which should be good.
To be fair, it did bankrupt the state of Rhode Island.
It did. it did. It absolutely did. And then it was, it's an EA property, and EA is just EA. I mean, did you see the Dragon Age thing that they put out yesterday?
No.
As we record this, don't watch it. It'll just, it looks like they've anthemed up Dragon Age, and it's just, no.
What about
No.
the Star
It would
Wars
never-
DLC for The Sims 4?
I can't wait to just never play another EA game.
Moving on. Party Hard 2 comes out on September 8. Party Hard was pretty funny, actually, because it was basically wish fulfillment. So in Party Hard, your neighbor has a loud, obnoxious party, so you go and slaughter them all, and this is definitely wish fulfillment for me. Moving on. Wintermore Tactics Club comes out on September 10. That's a pretty neat game, I believe, from the PC. What else we got? We have Vampire the Masquerade: Shadows of New York coming out on September 10. I believe that's like an tactics thing, I think.
Yeah, it's a tactics RPG, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, set in the Vampire the Masquerade in universe, which is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. What else we got? eFootball Pairs 2021 comes out on September 15 for people who like their footballs. I haven't played a Pairs game for quite a while, actually. I should probably check that out.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's still Konami, and I don't want to play Konami games because of what they did to the Junji Ito horror game.
Speaking of strategy games, even though Age of Empires is not coming out this month, there is something else coming out. So Commandos 2 Praetorians HD Remastered Double Pack comes out on September 18. Now, Commandos 2 is a classic of kind of real-time tactics, and Praetorians is a historical real-time strategy thing. So, you might want to check those ones out, Alan, while you wait for Age of Empires 3 to land.
I might. Does it have a man who goes whoa low low?
I don't know.
You know what? You haven't sold me on the game very well, Matt.
So September 22 brings 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim. Now, I've been playing that game under preview. This is the latest one from Vanillaware, and it is absolutely spectacular. I can say that because I have been...
I mean, am I allowed to ask you, like, how's the art? Because
it's
I assume
absolute...
that being Vanillaware, it's going to be, like, just astonishing, right?
It's just breathtaking. Like, this game is absolutely amazing. It's not like other Vanillaware games, because Vanillaware is always that kind of action, 2D action game. This one is more kind of point-and-click adventure mixed with kind of this turn-based tower defense thing. And it doesn't sound like it should work, but it works, and it is a really, really good game.
Bit of a tangent. Did you ever play Lock's Quest? Because that's what you're basically telling me.
Oh yeah, I like Lock's Quest, but no, this is different.
Like
this is very different to Lock's Quest. Yeah, very different. So it's really hard to actually describe until you play it, but I have had a preview done of it, and I think it's a highlight of the year for sure, unless something goes dramatically wrong with the rest of the game. But so far it's not. What else we got? So on September 25, Zengen comes. Now Zengen being dungeon, but Z instead of D. Well, instead of DU for dungeon, it's ZE for Zengen. I don't know. I looked up some screenshots of it, and it seems like it could be a thing. September 25 brings Mafia Definitive Edition. Apparently, people enjoy that.
Oh my god,
Whatever.
That's gonna either be atrocious or like a wake-up call to realize that like a 2006 game doesn't really hold up.
I've read some previews of it. They seem to be pretty positive on it, so maybe it worked. Here's one that's really interesting. Port Royale 4. Port Royale 4 comes out on September 25. I really like Port Royale. That's a kind of strategy game set in the colonial era Caribbean, where you get to set up trade routes and then deal with pirates and stuff. And it's all good stuff. That should be fun. I really enjoyed the last one. That came out on PlayStation 3, so it's been a while since the last Port Royale experience. Genshin Impact comes out on September 28. That's like a free-to-play MMO thing, but it has really gorgeous anime-style art. So not an Alan thing, but it really does look interesting to me. I'll give it a go since it's free-to-play. I'll give it a crack, and hopefully it's a grind in the right way, I guess.
I do appreciate it at this point where you're just like, yeah, it's not an Alan thing.
It's not an Alan thing.
It makes my job a lot easier.
I have got a sense of what is and is not your things, Alan.
I wish Matt would do that to me. I don't know what games to play. It's too complicated. Too much games.
I just know if it's like a Nintendo thing, it's a Trent thing.
I like Xbox too.
Oh yeah, that's right. But we don't talk about Xbox on here because Xbox is lame. Nintendo time. Let's talk about the Switch and the stuff that's coming out on the Switch that isn't coming out on the PlayStation 4. Good Pizza, Great Pizza comes out on September 3. I don't know anything about that game, just that I like pizza. So
did anybody play the Flash game, Pop-Up's Pizzeria?
No.
No? Okay. I spent like hours of my childhood on it, and Good Pizza, Bad Pizza looks exactly like that. So maybe like a walk into nostalgia for me.
Cool, that sounds good. And on September 3, a game called Niche, a genetic survival game, comes out. I mean, you're just asking for it if you're going to call your game Niche.
It's like calling a game Do Not Play.
Yeah, exactly. Call it Niche and then wonder why you didn't sell 300 million copies. But it's a fresh blend of turn-based strategy and simulation combined with roguelike elements. So it'll probably be just 101 indie game. But
you know what annoys me about that, Matt, is that there's gonna be 1,000 reviews of that game. By 1,000, I mean like 4 because it's niche. But the headline will be either it's a niche title, or it'll be like truly a one that should not go unseen.
Yeah, it'll be very punny, definitely punny.
It's gonna make me want to never go to any website ever again.
It's okay. They'll all be on some niche websites.
Yeah.
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 September 3 brings a game called Here Be Dragons, which is a pretty nondescript name, I guess. But if you actually look at it, it looks nice. Like the art style is really interesting and engaging, and I definitely want to play that. So that comes out on September 3. We also get the Basketballs game on Switch on September 4 with all the microtransactions therein, because no doubt there'll be a lot of those. And RPG Maker also comes out on Switch, and let's face it, that's probably the way to go with it, because that way you can make your little game on the go on the train. Going further, it's basically all the same stuff that was coming out on the PlayStation: Vampire the Masquerade, Wintermore Tactics Club, etc., etc., etc. Tomoyo After It's a Wonderful Life comes out on September 10. That's like a visual novel thing, which looks
that
good.
is a risky game. If you like Clannad, that is a extremely risky game. Don't play it unless you want your emotions destroyed.
Cool. That sounds good. I found Clannad interesting enough. So, yeah, that one looks very much in the same vein, same art style anyway.
It's a sequel. It's a sequel.
Oh, it's a sequel, is it?
Well,
Cool.
it's a spin-off. So it takes like the one character that everyone really likes from the first game and like makes a what-if story where the player ended up going with her instead. But
Sweet.
The plot is just, it's destructive. It'll ruin you. So just be careful.
Cool. I'm looking forward to that then. I did enjoy Clannad, and yeah, let's do that. Fight Crab, September 15. Fight Crab finally comes out on Switch.
Fight Crab.
Wait. Fight Crab.
No, I need to
Fight Crab.
about this. No, if
Fight
you like
Crab.
that game, you just have bad taste.
Fight
Go
Crab,
play a Fight
Alan.
game.
Fight Crab. See, it's not an Alan game, but for people who have taste,
It's so
Fight
silly.
Crab.
I don't know. We're
So
doing
how
a
are
lot
we
of
not
talk about
excited
Fight
for
Crab.
Fight
What?
you
Wait,
wanna-
wait. It's so silly. Are you telling me a game in which crabs fight each other with swords is silly, Alan? No
Yeah.
way.
Just like go
No
outside
way.
instead. Like go look at the beauty of the world. And
I thought you were about to say just go and give a crab a sword.
yeah, yeah, go start like a cockfighting ring. Fuck it, who cares? Do not do that, by the way.
Fight Crab. I can't wait for Fight Crab. It looks so stupid in the best possible way. I mean, that comes to us from the same developer that did Ace of Seafood, and that's a bit of a masterpiece in itself.
I just there are better things to spend your money on.
No, there's not. There is absolutely nothing.
For example.
There is nothing better to spend your money on than a game that is like the ultimate anti-game thing that deliberately is janky and terrible.
Why don't just go buy a game then and have fun with it? Oh my god!
Because it is fun watching jank,
It's gonna be so
deliberate
much fun.
jank. Everything's going to be terrible about Fight Crab, but it's going to be so good. I can't wait. Quiet, Alan. Quiet.
Oh god! It's just like Tekken exists.
Hey, Alan, I've got another one. The next game that comes out in September, I want you to type this into Google right now, okay?
Oh shit! Okay, here we go. What is it?
Moro, Moero, Crystal, H. Just do it.
Guess what the H stands for?
Moro Crystal H. Go on, type it into Google. Do it.
The same series as Moira Chronicle.
Yeah, it's the sequel.
Please verify your age. Oh no! Should I have done this in incognito? I'm gonna open that in incognito mode.
Yeah, you probably don't. You probably don't want Google knowing this one.
Yeah, I think you're on some kind of list now, Alan.
My birthday is the 9th of June, 1920.
This is why I just clicked on a link from some random website rather than going to the actual website.
Oh no!
This is not an Alan game, is Moro.
Oh no! Why is this a game?
Even just looking at
Her
the
poor
trailer
patch.
cover, this is not an Alan game.
Alan game by any means, but
Why is her back like a canoe? It's like perfectly curved. How does she walk?
So it's a dungeon crawler with a heavy
Why does she have
dose
a tail?
a heavy dose of fan service is a nice way to put it, right? A heavy dose of fan service.
No, the concerning thing about this is that I'm looking at this right now and I cannot tell, like, which one is the main character because they could all be the main character.
Well, no, you collect them, you see.
I like Pokemon.
Yeah, kind of.
This is the least Alan game. You could not have made a game that is more like just
That's why we're going to assign Alan to review this one for
Why
Disney.
does her boot have like a toe section? It's like she's wearing those like aqua shoes where it's like the toed socks, but it's only the main big toe.
That's a Japanese footwear thing.
Is it?
It's called fashion, Alan.
It's called fashion, sweaty.
Anyway, moving on from Alan's new favorite game. He's going to obsess about this now for weeks. You watch.
They're pullbacks. Oh my lord, that's in my fucking history now.
WWE 2K Battlegrounds comes out on September 18, and I'm sure Alan will enjoy that one.
No, that's like also in my shit pit list.
What else we got? We got This Is Zodiac Speaking. I don't know. Oh, it is. It does seem like it's based on the Zodiac Killer, so Ted Cruz's dad.
What?
You didn't know the meme that the Zodiac Killer is Ted Cruz's dad? That's the joke about Ted Cruz and his family at the moment.
To be honest, there's many
for
jokes
ages.
about Ted Cruz.
So this is the Zodiac Speaking is actually like a thriller horror thing with stealth and detective modes based on the story of the Zodiac. So I don't know. I find the Zodiac fascinating in the same way that Jack the Ripper is, I guess. So that could be interesting. I hope, maybe.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. Zengen also comes out on Switch on September 25.
Again, it just annoys me so much. It's like if I went up and I made a game about football, but I called it Grutball.
Or Ball.
Or just Foot. Like the umlaut on the U. Just Foot.
September 29 brings a game called Projection First Light. I don't know. The art looks interesting, like the little cover thing. It's like a 2D platformy thing, I think. It's a Limbo clone.
Oh,
okay. Interesting. Immediately dropped.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a thing. And that's it. That's the lot.
Hell yeah.
That's all the games. See, lots of games.
There's a lot of games. There's like only 2 games that I think are worthwhile in that entire like month, but that's just me.
Moro Crystal
Lots
is
of
one of them,
remakes
isn't it?
this month.
It's extremely not that. I cannot explain to you how much it is not that.
It is so. It is so that I'm sure
You could lock me in a room with a copy of that game, and I still would punch you in the face for doing that.
What Alan's not telling you is that he's actually already pre-ordered it. Like he is, once he Google searched it up, he's already put the pre-order down. It's coming, and assuming he doesn't get arrested for having it go through customs, he'll be playing it soon enough.
No, honestly, if you get arrested for playing that game, like, you know what? You're playing with fire to begin with. So, like, frankly, you reap what you sow.
Anyway, Trent.
Yes.
Pick one game this month. You get to say one game, only one.
Only one.
Yes, if you could only play one game, and this is the last game you'll ever play for the rest of your life.
Oh, God.
And it's the only game you get to play in September. What game is it going to be?
I'm going to just catch up and play Tell Me Lies. I just
defeats the purpose of the section where we talk about games coming out.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
I was wondering if we were just going to say the Animal Crossing expansion again.
Well, actually, is there one coming out? I don't know. Nintendo hasn't done a direct. Like, shame on them.
Well, they did do a direct. It was just not about Nintendo's games. They just dropped it out of nowhere last week.
It was about Bakugan, because everyone's favorite is Bakugan.
I haven't even played Flight Sim yet. Like, I've got it downloading, but every time I open the game, the download is stuck halfway through, so I have to close out the downloader and reopen the downloader, and then it like goes for another 20%, and then I'm able to install that module bit, and then I have to close out of it when I go back to I'm gonna play Flight Sim, turn on the Xbox PC, and it's like stuck again, and then I'm like, I can't play the game.
So what I'm getting from this is what I'm getting from this is Trent's not really interested in any games in September. Moving on. Harvard, you get to pick one. Please play the game properly. Pick one.
Alan, would you pick Tony Hawk?
I'm gonna pick probably the Tony Hawk or that other game that was coming out.
Okay, then I'll pick something else. I'll probably go with
You pick
the
Tony
Mafia
Hawk.
re-release. No, I don't
Mafia.
want. I don't want to pick it. If you guys have been reading DNet for a while, you'll see that like I really liked Mafia 3, and I feel like I want to go back and see what the series is like.
Mafia
Well,
3
you'll
is good
certainly get-
entirely
you'll-
because of the music, like the licensed music.
Oh yeah, very good music.
You'll certainly get to do that with Mafia 1 remake.
I'll probably
Honestly,
play Mafia 1 next month.
I have read a few previews of it, and it does seem like it's doing the right thing. So, yeah, it seems like a game that'll be worth looking forward to.
Yeah. I
So,
remember liking it when I played it back in 2000 and whenever.
so Alan, Tony
yeah,
Hawk,
I mean, it's
right?
Tony Hawk. It's
Mad
it's here
tricks.
I am doing everything I can, holding on to what I am, pretending I'm a Superman. That's
Okay.
pretty much it. Look, I just want the return of Scar music. That's all I want.
I see.
I want to buy a Rip Curl wallet and put a chain on it and attach it to my checkerboard shorts.
Does
Do
it
you
have
reckon
the
you-
Green
do you
Day
reckon you could,
song
like,
Hello?
modify?
Hello Holiday?
Do you reckon you could like modify Tony Hawk to like put Hatsune Miku in it? Because then it'd be pretty good.
It's on PC, so why not?
I hope so.
But I don't know why
That
you
would
would
make the game-
want to replace ska music, because ska music is just renowned as the greatest thing ever. Like Real Big Fish, the greatest band of all time with Aaron.
Yeah, but
Derrick.
imagine pulling off like rad tricks to Levin Polka, Alan.
I'd rather not.
And then like a giant Miku comes on the screen and goes, yay! And like there's stars and stuff coming out.
Sorry, this is what happens when I'm tired and like had a long day. I just become like a massive bitch.
Also, I'm annoyed because Alan said 2 games technically because it's a remake of both 1 and 2.
It
No,
is a
at least I
package.
gave
You can't
nuts,
buy them
okay?
separately, so you know we'll give him a pass on that one.
Game
As-
answer.
As for me, I'm going with
Don't say the monster game.
the monster game.
I hate that.
No, I like the last one was fun. I did play the last one, and I like
Last-
dungeon
The same thing.
pretty much, and I like dungeon crawlers, and these ones underneath that fan servicey exterior are pretty standard, easy playing, enjoyable dungeon crawlers. So that would be my pick for the month if I wasn't playing Fight Crab.
That upsets me a lot.
Fight Crab.
Fight
Fight
Crab.
Crab.
Well, can we put in some Age of Empires 3 music?
Does-
Because I was talking about it anyway.
Does Fight Crab have like online multiplayer? Because I could imagine that
It does,
I
yes.
think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fight Crab's going to be like the DDNet, like Friday game.
We should actually do
Ever.
that. Put it on YouTube. DDNet
Yeah.
Fight Crab tournament.
Yeah, we're so doing a Fight Crab tournament.
I hope you know that I like exhaled and I considered muting my mic when I did that.
You know what I
But
reckon?
I want you to know. I want you to know that I'm disappointed.
I reckon Alan wants to like Fight Crab, but he's gonna suck at it, and he knows it, and he's gonna.
You can't do this to me. No, you can't fucking do this like Hannibal Lecter bullshit.
just
try-
get good, dude. Just get good.
Music is Age of Empires 3. It's called Oblicious. So on the DDNet Slack over the last week, I want to say, there's been a bit of a talk about how there are, a lot of adaptations of, film. There's a lot of adaptations of TV, but into gaming. But there's not that many adaptations of, literary works like books and stuff. And it sort of ended up going on this discussion of, why is that the case? And, what would a good adaptation of a book look like in terms of a video game? And I kind of want to throw that out to the group here, because I didn't think about it very hard, because I was sort of I don't know how they would do that. And then I stopped
I
thinking
thought
about
you
it.
were about to say because I don't read books.
Yeah, because I'm illiterate.
No.
I don't read. I'm a teacher, but I do not read.
But you just said you read it in the Slack.
No, look, you caught me out, okay? It wasn't a good plot.
No, but I mean, yeah, there was a game that was about 2 weeks ago now that was announced from a Chinese developer that it's like Dark Souls but Journey to the West, and it looks so good.
I saw that. That looks really good.
Very good.
It looks absolutely spectacular. And I mean, there's been a lot of adaptations of Journey to the West. It's one of the few books
Enslaved, Odyssey.
Yeah, and
that's a very loose adaptation.
No, but it's
It
Andy
is.
Journey to the West wasn't set in the future.
Are you
but
sure?
there's one that's just out as well, isn't there? I think there's something about the Monkey King. Basically, anytime you see the Monkey King, it's a reference back to Journey to the West.
Yeah,
So
there's illusions, but I haven't really seen a game that really tried to do the vibe of the whole thing. But it's cool because Journey to the West is.
How do you take a book that's 7,000 pages long and turn it into a game? Is the question. That's the problem with all.
That's what makes it good. Is you can go through episodes or city scenarios.
Or DLC.
That's the problem with all those Chinese, the 4 classics. So I don't know if people on the podcast are aware of this, but there is a set of novels from the 15th through 14th through 18th century that are considered, the great works of Chinese literature, and they are Journey to the West, which we mentioned, Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which has been turned into plenty of video games as well, thanks to Koei Tecmo. Then there's 2 others called Water Margin and Dream of the Red Chamber.
Oh, nice.
And sorry,
you got 4 for 4.
Yeah, I know them. I've read.
People don't usually know the last 2.
I've read 3 of them. I've read Water Margin as well. I haven't read Dream of the Red Chamber yet, but apparently that's a very difficult one to translate anyway. And I know there are translations, but on that basis, I haven't really looked into it as yet. But anyway, those 4 books are very long. They have very long reads, and I think that's part of the difficulty with taking some of these books and turning them into video games. They're just so much material to work through. When you convert it into video game, it becomes a lot of contents.
Well, actually, Matt, if you've read Water Margin, have you ever played Suikoden?
Yes, I know that's a loose adaptation.
Vaguely an adaptation.
Yeah, inspired by. Let's put it that way. That's probably the best way. Yeah, it's inspired by. Water Margin is the one that I really like. That's my favorite of the 4, of the 3 that I've read. I would like to see more if it's done to video game it, but again, I can see that would be very difficult. But yeah, it was that game that kind of inspired the visual, the announcement, the trailer of this Journey to the West video game, which really inspired, I think, this topic for us because, yeah, I would like to see a lot more books turned into video games as well. I mean, another good example would be Shakespeare. They don't do too many efforts at doing Shakespeare.
Because Romeo and Juliet is boring and bad.
Excuse me, Romeo and Juliet would make a great dating sim, like a visual novel thing with fan service.
It would be really hard
Animate it up.
Because you would have problems getting the plot to fit a game decision tree kind of structure. Because the whole point of most Shakespeare tragedies, you have to just die. So how are you supposed to decide your way out of that?
Well, I mean, all visual novels have an ending, Harvard.
Maybe you just try doing things with Juliet and you start to sway. And no, like the whole you're gonna die, right? But like the whole point of the game is like you're trying to like move that point of death longer and longer in your life, I guess. So then the decision tree would then plot it out, and then you can do things, and then end up dead earlier or later. Yeah.
So it's Final Destination.
It's not about the destination, it's about
That
the
could
journey.
work, actually. Can I steal that idea?
No, that's just Until Dawn. That's
No,
just
but
Until Dawn.
Until Dawn. No, hear me out. Until Dawn, but Hamlet. So at any point, you could just go and stab Claudius and see what happens. But you can make the choice to not.
Sounds like the premise of like Breath of the Wild, where you could go and save the 4 like height things, or you can just go kill Ganon.
Breath of the Wild X Hamlet.
Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Hamlet would make a pretty decent video game, I think.
Yeah,
In fact-
I think it's long enough to make it
In
work.
fact, there is one, and I don't know if it's still on Steam or whatever. It was done ages ago. It was an adaptation of a choose your own adventure thing, a comedy thing called To Be or Not to Be. Ryan North,
No.
Ryan North's To Be or Not to Be, and it's a kind of satire of Hamlet done in choose your own adventure style, and it's actually really good. Gives me similar vibes to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, the Tom Stoppard play. It's pretty neat, but yeah, I don't know.
Can I talk about The Witcher really quickly?
Can
Because the
I
first game.
look one thing?
Yeah, go.
One really interesting approach is the Great Gatsby NES, which I hope is still online. It's just like a retro NES platformer, but you play as I think you play Gatsby or Nick Carraway or whatever, and you just walk around collecting money. And you can like get at a level, you see the green light. It's great. It has nothing to do with the book, but it's just an NES platformer called The Great Gatsby.
Why'd they make that?
They need to make one of that for every classic book. They need to make a Pride and Prejudice Metroidvania. They need to make like
Oh,
a
hell yeah! You could like collect
Little
bits
Women
and pieces of
turn-based strategy
It's like an Of Mice and Men book. Damn.
of Mice and Men Oregon Trail. Actually, that would be good.
Of
Oregon
Mice and
Trail
Men,
is a-
you play the mice, right? The mouse, right? And you're just gonna keep dodging out of the way of Lenny. It's like a stalker horror thing.
Wow.
And if Lenny catches you, he squishes you. That's,
I don't like that.
that book traumatized me as a kid. It absolutely traumatized me when I read it.
I can't
I felt
believe we
sorry
made
for the
kids
mouse.
read that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Oh,
did we
Yeah.
lose everybody? No, we're still around.
no, we're here. Yeah, no, I'm going to talk about Witcher now because heck you all. It's my time.
The
I get
Witch
to
is
yell
not
about The
really
Witcher.
a book, though.
What do you mean it's not a book? Witcher 1 came out in a time where there was a singular Polish TV series that sucked and that everyone hated.
I mean, calling The Witcher a book is like calling, I don't know, 50 Shades of Grey a book.
I mean, it is objectively words written on pages.
Yeah.
Can't argue
I don't know.
against.
Maybe we should toss a coin to Alan.
No, I'm gonna die. So basically, the first Witcher game is really weird because you can tell that the people who wrote it had no idea that they would actually end up writing like one of the biggest game series of all time by accident. Because the game is a sequel, but also like a retelling of most of the book's events. For example, like there's a part in the books where Geralt saves Foltest's bastard daughter, who's also an incest daughter, from a curse of being a streaker, and that happens again in the game.
A streaker
but
is in somebody that runs onto sports fields.
No, it's
Nude.
someone who eats like the livers of people.
Ah, right. It would have
Yeah.
been so much more interesting if it was somebody that ran onto sports fields in the nude.
I mean, you do get like a sex card with her that she's naked in, so like hell yeah. That's real. um yeah, no, like it's weird because they adapted the books but they also tried to make it a sequel, and it's very, very strange. And as a result, the entirety of the game series is seen as not canon because it doesn't make sense.
I mean, more seriously, the Witcher is it's I guess the easy material to turn into video games because it's kind of that pulpy fantasy
it's
stuff.
a monster hunter
And-
itself in terms of like having a side quest of like hunting a monster.
Yeah. I mean, there are certainly genres of literature which do lend themselves quite easily to video games. Fantasy being probably the best example of that. I mean, there's
Do
been
you
heaps.
remember the Hobbit PS2 game that was not?
I was
connected
just about
the
to talk
movies?
about Lord of the Rings and
Yeah.
Tolkien's been adapted into video games billions of times over. The ones that are good tend to be the ones that do stray close to the novels or the films. The ones that are not very good tend to be made by Warner Brothers and
When they made
their own
the
thing.
spider into a sexy lady.
Yeah, sexy spider.
So many more legs to hold. Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, there are some fantasy books that I would like to see somebody try and spin into a video game. I mean, imagine the Magician trilogy.
Red Waller, everything by Terry Pratchett would also be good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, like a Hitchhiker's game would be fun because it would just be like
so
point and click. It would just be a point and click adventure game.
Well, there is a point.
MMO.
Did you just say that it would be great if there was a point and click Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game?
Yeah.
Alan, how old are you?
I am 23.
There is a point and click Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy game.
No way.
There is. I can't believe you didn't know that existed. There is one.
I thought it was a text adventure.
Is it a text adventure? No, it might be a text adventure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. But
it was before my time.
It's actually pretty well regarded too. So they've already done the game, Alan.
There are game hints for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on the BBC Radio 4 website. What the?
It was a pretty influential game, and it was also really well known for being stupidly difficult. You die very often.
It was designed by Douglas Adams?
Yeah. It's legit. It's all legit.
Can I play this online? Is this on the... No,
It'll
wait.
be on the Internet Archive.
DOSBox.
Sure.
Yeah,
it'll be on the Internet Archive for sure. So, I've introduced Alan to a new game.
Hiker's Guide.
That's kids how you pirate your video games from the olden days.
So Harvard, as a teacher, while Alan's off discovering things.
I'm gone.
He's disappeared. He's off playing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. As a teacher, would it actually be of value if they started to take some of the books that were, studied at school and turn them into video games? Because I remember looking at adaptations of literature into film was a thing. Do you see there being the potential of doing that with games as well?
In my opinion, yes, but I'm really worried of looking like that cool teacher who's like, oh yeah, guys, we're going to play games today. I don't want to be that guy. But I think it's useful for... Especially if the game isn't fun, yeah, the kids will just revolt. But if there is a good intro to texts that are hard to understand, especially like really long novels or texts that have unconventional English, I think games are a really good way to get people to understand the motivations of the characters. Like, I made a comment about how, do you know the card game Reigns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like Tinder swipe as a king or a queen and you decide how you rule your kingdom. That's really useful for teaching the Shakespearean histories because it effectively, when you play it, you think like a monarch would and you think, how would I hold my power and things like that. And that's more useful than watching a video about the history of Elizabethan rulers or whatever, because you feel like what that person would feel like. And
I'm not going to lie, I would play every single one of Shakespeare's plays if they were done as a Reigns style thing.
Yeah, I think
I would play every
some
single
way
one.
to make it work.
Romeo and Juliet, the Reigns edition would be great.
What about Yes, Your Majesty? That's pretty fun.
I haven't tried that one.
Oh, it's great.
Well,
it's like that Brexit simulator game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the point and click thing where you're like in the jail and then you're like, you get all the people to line up at the pubs and then you're like, yeah, we're going to stop Brexit.
You're talking about Not Tonight.
Yeah, Not Tonight. And
Oh.
then there's like yes.
How'd you get Not Tonight from that?
Well, he was talking about
Brexit
lining
game.
up at pubs, and there's only one game where you line up at pubs.
And it's a Brexit simulator, so
That's
And
it.
Brexit simulator.
It's in Valhalla. There are things at pubs.
But moving on.
No, I was going to say before we moved on, I can't wait for a Tim Winton Cloud Street game so I can hate Cloud Street again.
Oh yeah, that's a very visceral reaction to that book. Were you forced to read it as a child?
I was forced to read it in year 11 and 12, and it's like a 500-page book with no punctuation, and it makes me want to scream.
Yeah, well, that's the problem.
You know what I would love?
I think that the way we teach books too makes people hate them.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
'cause to be fair, I never
kind of
actually finished
books that
reading
were
that
on
book.
the reading list and whatever. I'd love to see like Raymond Chandler's like noir novels
Oh, that would be
turned into
so
mafia
fun.
style things. That would be great.
Did you play A Case of Distrust?
No, I did not.
It's an adventure game that like is based on the style of Raymond Chandler.
Oh,
So
really?
maybe you'll like
I'll have to
yeah,
check that
it's
out.
like
Yeah.
even the art style is drawn like one of his book covers.
Oh,
So
sweet. I have to
it-
check that out. Big time fan of Chandler. Big.
Yeah, same vibe. But it like modernizes
I'm
it.
more of a
So
Ross
the
man
protagonist is a
myself.
woman and they have like values. It's not awful.
What did you just say, Alan?
I'm more of a Ross man myself.
They should also do like a video game adaptation of The Catcher in the Rye, and it's just like an endless stream of misery for.
Can I clarify? I'm not a Ross man.
Yeah.
I do not like
No.
Ross.
No, you are a
Just
Ross
in
man
case-
now.
In case the
He's
listeners
nuts.
thought you were on a break.
My sandwich.
I hate to tell you guys, but probably dropping in Friends references on this podcast is probably not going to catch on. I don't think.
Look, you know what? Look,
I don't think there are that many people that are still that familiar with Friends. Oldies like us, but it was very millennials TV show.
yeah, I remember
Let's
going to
face it.
Central Perks Cafe, and then they'd have like a job where they worked maybe 7 hours and had enough to pay rent in a New York apartment.
So it's a Generation X show.
Yeah,
It is. It's on that kind of edge between the later Gen X's and, the earlier Gen X's. Yeah, it's definitely an 80s and 90s thing. If you grew up in the 80s and 90s, you knew Friends, and that's that.
Yeah.
But I will say that, in comparison to today's kids and what they're watching, Friends is a bit of a high quality thing.
I do kind
no,
of feel like
actually,
the 80s
today's
and
kids
90s.
have better shows.
No, they
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
they,
they do.
no, they don't.
Avatar exists. It's like a very good kids show.
What?
Avatar's
Avatar's
put
like
around when
80s.
Friends were
Okay,
around.
boomer. It's all about the Infinity Train and glitch checks.
Avatar is like this thing where they're all like blue people in space.
Yeah, and they say, yo, listen up, this is the story about a little guy who lives in a blue world. And all day and all night, and everything he sees is just blue like him, inside and outside.
And one day the multiple
And
sequels
blue
come
his
out.
house with a blue little window and a blue Corvette, and everything is blue for him and himself and everybody around, because he ain't got nobody to listen to.
Did you listen to Eiffel 65 a bit, Alan, when you were growing up?
I don't want to say anything beyond the fact that when I was a child, I had 2 CDs. One of them was Aaron Carter's I Love Candy. The other one was Eiffel 65's I'm Blue featuring Move Your Body.
Just putting it out there, he does have good songs outside of I'm Blue. Like, just
No,
putting it out
no,
there.
they don't. They genuinely don't.
Oh, they're bops.
I would not go so far. I need you to listen to Move Your Body again in a modern context and not want to jam forks into your ears. Anyway, books should be games. Music, Matt. What's the music song in it?
We're going to do Blue.
Okay, we're doing.
Is that kind of
I'm
copyright?
Blue.
Make it an
Blue.
orchestra
Eiffel
version. I don't know.
65.
Miku
Alright,
version.
fuck it.
No. Mickey version. I'm going to check that. Is there a
No,
Mickey version of
exists,
that?
I guarantee it. That's gonna kill me. Hold on. No, I need to find this before I die. I'm Blue Miku.
We'll
Yep,
make-
here we go. Blue WD remix. There's an A and B for it as well. And welcome back? Question mark. I'm amazed that you're still here, to be quite honest. It's that's something. Anyway, so when I was perusing the old tweet sphere a while ago, I came across an article from the Washington Post, and I don't usually click on them because I would say don't trust Washington Post, but it piqued my interest because it had a very interesting title, and it said, "In The Last of Us Part 2, music often speaks louder than words." And that as a title, as someone who's done like a lot of study on, you know, music and on video games and on thematic conveyance in music and emotion in music, I was like, okay, let's see how we go. Let's see how we go with this amazing article. And basically, I'm just going to read a quote out. I regret the idea that I'm just going to dunk on this person because they clearly just don't know what they're talking about. But I'm going to do it. By allowing music to speak as opposed to relying solely on dialogue, Last of Us Part 2 largely subverts the way in which contemporary games choose to tell the most raw and profound parts of their stories. It resists the temptations of exposition and instead seeks to offer a more experimental and emotional connection to what is happening in the game, which allows people to interpret the events in different, more personal ways. It is a different kind of storytelling. Okay. To unpack that this is the author essentially talking about how they've finally discovered that music can make them sad. And that's pretty disappointing because we exist in a in a sphere where music and video games are sort of hand in hand. I would like anyone to play a video game and turn off the music. Like, you're playing Bayonetta, turn off the music. See how much like less fun that game is without the music, because it is so linked to the gameplay that it is impossible to disconnect it without incredibly harming the experience. And the same with a lot of things. And this article particularly goes and talks about how the art of performing a song in game is often lost, and it's not done. And Last of Us Part 2 is the first game to ever do performance in a game. The thing that annoys me about that is that I could name games off by like memory.
That article was talking about the guitar scenes, right? Like largely that was what this writer was like really invested in, was the fact that Ellie would pick up a guitar at random points and just strum a bit, and then she'd suddenly remember that Joel taught her how to play music or something. That was the basic crux of the point, wasn't it?
Yeah, essentially, it was the idea of performance in games, which again has been done before.
which is really weird because like everybody remembers the opera scene in Final Fantasy VI, right? Which is entirely about a music performance being within the context of a video game, being part of the narrative storytelling element of it.
To pick a game that's even more recent than Nier Automata, the opera singer. It's like a boss battle. It's pretty fucking obvious.
We don't love our opera here.
Yeah, and also
we just picked the two examples of opera in video games.
Actually, is this a good example? In Paper Mario, the theme park where you go up the levels and it's like a performance, and then they've got music and battles and like action and stuff on the screen, and then they go like, Mario, get your ass up here, and then you like battle them.
Not quite, because Mario's not performing the music himself. It's what this article really gets at is the idea that a main character is using music to push a narrative point ahead, I guess. And it has been done before. Like you could use examples from BioShock Infinite, which was a AAA game, like that came out in the last 10 years, where they do Will the Circle Be Unbroken, which is by the way, fantastic version of that song. I actually really like that part of the game because you just really quietly pick up the guitar and then Elizabeth sings while you play the guitar. It's really nice. That's a very good part of that game. As is the entire Priscilla segment of Witcher 3, which is fantastic because it's not clear that the song is about, Geralt and Yennefer and Triss. Yet it totally is. And you look at Geralt's face and his facial expression changes during the song. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, he gets it.
Well, I mean, another great example is of these kind of AAA blockbusters that everybody should be aware of is the Assassin's Creed Black Flag, where you go around picking up sea shanties. And your crew perform those. They sing them as they go about their job, and that's definitely building environment and world building and whatever via music, because it builds the aesthetic. It builds the aesthetic of the world and the setting, because that's what they did back then. They did sea shanties to keep everybody in line and doing their job, and it was put into Assassin's Creed Black Flag pretty well. It was one of the rare highlights of that game.
Yeah. Well, like the thing that gets me is that like it's this notion that it comes back to The Last of Us 2 being a game that's like probably quite good. I haven't played it. I have no interest in playing it, but the heaping of praise upon it for doing something that's not really that wild.
Well, I mean that's every AAA blockbuster. Let's face it. These games aren't where the innovation happens. It's the same with anything, any other media, film, literature, whatever. The guys writing the popular things are really just cribbing ideas from the niche stuff that they really quite enjoyed.
It's not even niche though. Like Witcher 3 sold a lot of copies, and as did Nier actually. Even
no, I'm talking more. I'm talking more generally about where.
Oh, okay.
Where all these AAA blockbusters, not just The Last of Us, but also whatever Sony, open world thing, Days Gone, God of War, whatever. These games,
Days Gone.
these games are all kind of borrowing ideas from elsewhere. They're not creating much themselves.
Spider-Man. I mean, wait, what?
Spider-Man is much the same. I mean, they're highly refined. I'm not saying they're bad games. these ideas, and I totally agree with you. It's not just the music thing, but just generally the writing about AAA games is always, this game is innovation, this game is pushing things forward, this game is doing something that's amazing. And it's like, do you guys actually not play games beyond the AAA blockbusters or something? Is that your problem
Or
here? You know,
do you
it's
just
like,
not have memory? Are you a goldfish?
yeah, but yeah, you'd think that these guys would play games that are they go a little bit deeper beyond just the AAA blockbusters. And I realize everybody's time poor these days, especially if you're working for a major publication. But if you're going to write about stuff, you should probably know the topic that you're writing
Yeah.
about. I
No,
think.
it also sends me into the sun because like I'm seeing this trend back towards like I call it the Shadow the Hedgehog effect, where the only emotion you're allowed to feel is anger and sadness, and everything else is not seen as valid in terms of art. And I'm seeing this push towards that because it's
I
you
think
see
it's like
something
it's like this.
exciting and happy, and it's like this negative thing of like, oh no, it's just happy, it's just happiness, oh, it's so bland. And then it's that the bit from Always Sunny where it's Danny DeVito looking at the art, being like, now this I like.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's weird. It's like Katamari is the most creative game that's ever been done, and it's just, it's a ball of bliss, and yet people don't talk about it as being this wildly creative thing that is of
You've the
comparison
Katamari
to,
done.
it is, of artistic comparison to The Last of Us or whatever. Because, yeah, there is this perception. I think I agree with you that in video games, that misery misery and anger are synonyms for depth, artistic depth. And I think
I guess
people
they're also
seem
the
to
best
feel like
creative.
if they feel this kind of negative reflection, if they feel if a game sobers them, and I don't mean as in after you have a glass of beer, you have a glass of water. I'm not talking about that kind of
Full
sobering, but if
stiff
you,
drink of Last of Us 2.
yeah, if you play a game and you're left in a kind of a, a state where you're a little bit reflective and feeling a little bit blue, then the game must have had a big impact on you. But I don't know if that's really the example of great art. I mean, middling art can leave you in a reflective mood.
I
um,
mean, I think the part of the thing that I always get is the ending of Bayonetta, which made me go from so angry because I hated the final boss fight to just like singing along with the final version of Fly Me to the Moon. And like that is the best like experience in a like game that I've had in a while. Like that was amazing and it wasn't miserable. And it was so nice that it wasn't miserable because it wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna go be a horrible person for about 7 hours, and then I'm gonna show you why I'm a horrible person. I'm gonna do it again, and then I'm gonna pick up a guitar so you can feel my pain. Shadow the Hedgehog, like it's that sort of thing. It annoys me. It
yeah, I mean,
annoys me, Matt.
most of the games that I really enjoy um, are more positive, I think, in tone than these kind of AAA blockbusters tend to be. I'm trying to
Or
think.
at least exploring the themes a little bit more in depth. Like,
Well,
I
like
get,
fundamentally, something like Persona 4 or whatever is one of my favorite narratives of all time. It has its moments where it's serious.
It gets
Um,
dark, and then it
it
also has
gets,
moments where you
but
happy.
ultimately, it wants to lift you up,
Hmm.
and leave you with a sense that things are okay. And
That it's time to make history.
I do have
Yeah,
an
what are you trying to
interest.
say?
I do have a theory that the arts tend to track along with their response to what's going on in the globe, right?
Hmm.
Historically, through the entire history, the reason that art exists is people want to catalog what's going on in their lives and reflect on it and explore it as a topic. So when things tend to be good, people tend to get a little bit more serious, I think, with the art because they want to they're in the mind space that they can be a little bit more reflective and sobering. Whereas when things get really bad, the art tends to be designed to try and lift people up so that it's an escape from reality. And 2020 has been a pretty dramatic flip from a world where things were generally, in Donald Trump and whatever was fucking up the place, but the last couple of decades since World War II have been generally on an upward trajectory, and the world has been getting better for people. 2020 and 2019, the end of 2019, when climate change really became evident, and then the pandemic hit, and everything just kind of, we all hit a wall. I would imagine that the artists over the next couple of years will start to respond to that, and we'll start to see more uplifting experiences. At least I think that's what's going to happen.
More Ooblets games, basically.
So the games that have been released right now are still games that started in development, a couple of years ago, before all of this came to a head. I would suspect that the games that start in development, around now-ish for release in a couple of years, they will be of a different tone. And I do think that they'll be more uplifting. I want to think that. I think that this grimdark crap that Sony's on in particular will ease off, and we'll start to have games that try to be a little bit more escapist.
Available now on Xbox.
Yeah. So at least I want to hope that, because I'm kind of exhausted with Sony in particular. I'm just tired of this relentless misery that Sony peddles. And
Sony has always had that
Sony's had
teenage sort of angsty sort of dude bro.
I mean, yes and no. Sony's always had some of that, but Sony's always had other stuff as well, like Patapon. I mean, how delightful is Patapon? And they've had they Bound earlier in the year, which was a fairly it was dark in places, but it had a kind of uplifting nature to it as well.
Keeping in mind, this is the company that led Naughty Dog to change Jak and Daxter from a quiet, happy, oh wow, we're gonna do an adventure 3D platformer to Grand Theft Auto, and you're also a mutant freak.
Yeah, imagine being in that boardroom. We love your cartoon game, but make it like GTA.
So everyone wants to play GTA now. Oh, what do we do? I don't know, just make him angry.
We need a GTA game, and it needs to be like Mario. What? This game? Do that.
It is really good though. Jak 2 slaps.
So yeah, to bring it back to the music, at the moment we've got Ellie picking up a guitar and playing some pretty sad tunes, and that's the motive of whatever. But I imagine that I really do think that over the next couple of years, the equivalent will be somebody picking up an instrument to play some Eiffel 65 or something. Lift them up, cheer them up, knock out some Blue. Blue.
So I haven't played The Last of Us, but this whole guitar thing, it is actually sad music. It's not like her playing a nice little strummy song.
No, it's this kind of
memories.
It's this kind of grimdark country music stuff, which
it's like the devil went down to Georgia and I'm here too.
Yeah, it's weird, the country music scene, not that I'm that tapped into it, but the country music scene seems to have gone that way and pivoted that way and hard over the last couple of years as well. So, yeah, it seems to be...
It's also almost as if the people which commonly do country music, which is, usually, in poorer areas of the country, are being strangled by the politics of their government. But, they keep voting for them.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Ellie should have played
Hard
Do you know the Nick Cave song, the Carney?
I don't know it very well.
Oh, it's a great song.
I was thinking you were gonna say she should have played Down with the Sickness by Disturbed.
You know what she should have played? If she wants to keep in the country music theme, she should play that
Finger Boys.
Take Me Home song. Country Roads.
Yeah. They hired that already out for what 76 though. You can't play that song anymore.
Oh, it's in every single game, bro. It was in Ravens Go Home. Seriously.
No one's allowed to play it. It's the 76 song now. That's that song now. It's 76. Take me home. Ooh ah ah. Ooh ah ah ah. Anyway,
music time, I think.
Music time. I don't know what we're gonna do. Let's do Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon is pretty good fun.
quality. I've got quantities. If you're just gonna watch, I'm putting you to the work. That was your last call. No more shots from me, Bayonetta.
As long as there's music, I'll keep on dancing.
And welcome back. So there's also been a game that's released in this month that has recently been announced to be the most downloaded PlayStation Plus game of all time, and that includes Rocket League, which is insane. And that game is Fall Guys. It has taken the world by storm, for better or for worse. I don't know, and I have not played this game. I have no interest in this game, and I'm gonna stop talking now because I don't know if I should talk about it because I don't think I'm gonna have the same opinion other people will. I
Alan,
think
you're
I
such a
want to.
killjoy. You should go play your guitar and sing some country music.
I freaking will. You can't stop me.
All right, I haven't played the game. I know very little about. Let's see how accurate I am. Okay, so it's got blobby
Okay,
creatures.
I'll check it off.
All right, so it's got blobby creatures, so it's gonna play. It's gonna be a little bit intoxicating. You're gonna be like, it's gonna be one of those like, it's
Yep.
gonna be one of those games where you
Aren't
sort
you
of like
a little
walk there.
intoxicating?
Yeah, like like they're really badly controlled games where
Hey,
you just
hey,
like.
Yeah,
hey, Alan,
Absolutely.
don't
Yep,
don't
you're right.
kink shame if he has a thing for body guys.
But yeah, it's just gonna be a little bit all over the place in terms of control. It's meant to be loopy and fun and
Yep.
that sort of stuff. It's gonna play maybe like a little bit like moving out or something like that. You're gonna be just like bumping into things and doing stupid shit like that. Yeah? No?
Pretty much.
Yeah?
And except there's like 60 of you. That's it.
Yeah, and that sounds absolutely miserable because it would make me realize that the people I'm playing Fall Guys with are the people who drive on the highway next to you and me, and I
Do
don't
they have
trust
No,
them.
guns?
but that's the thing. That's the thing. So when you play like a multiplayer, like proper skill multiplayer game, like when you play League of Legends or Counter-Strike or whatever, if your teammates are awful, you hate them.
League doesn't
But
play
in
you.
Fall Guys, in Fall Guys, if your teammates are awful, it's hilarious because it's like the joy of the game is just the fact that nothing works and everything is awful and you're falling over all the time. Like that's the whole point.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, but
life in
see, that
general. I
sounds
don't have
miserable.
time for that in a video game.
I love how like everyone's like, no, it's a really fun feature to always be falling over. They hated Smash Brawl because of that feature.
Oh no. They hated Smash Brawl because they were like the loud competitive guys who wanted to not have fun. But the people who were having fun with Brawl were okay with tripping.
Yeah, so the thing is, I think Fall Guys has a really limited shelf life for most people, and
Yeah, there's a
Yes,
game.
absolutely, it
I-
will.
at the moment, it has this kind of charm because it is cute and silly and funny, and you drop into a round or two, and you just have a good time with it, and it's all low pressure and instantly accessible, so it's all good. The
Yeah,
thing
like
is,
Rocket League, it's instantly like recognizable. You get.
well,
what you
no,
have.
Rocket League
Guys.
is instantly recognizable, but still there's a learning curve with it. There's no learning curve with Fall Guys. You just you jump in and you're able to play it comfortably straight away, and that's a big part of its appeal. The problem is, what is absolutely going to fuck this game up is people are going to get serious about this shit, and it's going to be turned into this hyper competitive thing. And of course, the developer's going to encourage that because those are the people that are playing, 20 hours per day. and it's just going to sour really quickly. It's at the moment it's this joyful thing that everybody can join in and enjoy on their own level without necessarily needing to worry about being good at the game or whatever. But that's only for the first couple of weeks. It is going to replace itself with a community that is nasty and unpleasant and vile, and it's because that is that is the process that every single multiplayer game does. At the start, everybody's jumping in and they're having a great time together, and then it just gets sour and sour and sour, and by the end of it, you just don't want to be part of the community anymore because it is toxic as hell. We've seen.
I uninstalled Overwatch finally.
Well, Overwatch is actually a really good example. I enjoyed Overwatch when it first came out. I know it shocked you, I think, didn't it? Because I was like, oh yeah, I'm actually enjoying Overwatch, and you're like, what? And I was like, well, Diva, and you're like, oh yeah, I understand. But
no, I didn't say I understand. I said I get you. I didn't say I understand.
It's true. You never understand me, Alan.
Also, on weird games like that,
at least you get me.
The Ubisoft one looks tolerable. I haven't played the beta of it, but that Ubisoft one they're releasing, Hyperlapse or whatever it is. Hyperlapse?
But it's the same thing. If it gets a community going, then it'll survive as a game, but it'll turn toxic. Every multiplayer game, this is like a law. I don't know what we can call it, the law of, but it is a law. Every multiplayer game goes toxic.
The heated moment.
At some point, a community goes from having this really kind of positive experience where everybody is enjoying it together as a thing. They're discovering it, they're playing it, they're learning it, and it's that kind of joint community experience. And then at some point, the people that were enjoying it go and play something else. The people that decide to take everything so seriously in life.
The people who aren't enjoying it stay.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The people who aren't enjoying it but
really
are super competitive, they're the ones that stay. And it has happened with every game. There is not a single multiplayer game you can tell me where the community has not turned toxic.
You can just say my name, Matt.
No, I'm not saying your name. I mean, Smash Brothers was a good example as well. Smash Brothers was good fun for the first month online when it worked.
No,
which wasn't very often, but
I always buy Smash Brothers in the aim to play it, and then I do all the single player stuff and get all the characters, and then by the time I'm ready to play like multiplayer, it's just like I don't want to play this anymore.
But
we have very different experiences with that game. I feel like
I remember Smash Brothers being this great party game everybody had great fun with. I'm talking about the original Smash Brothers, this N64 one, and then they came along with what was it, Melee, which was a better game in every way.
The ultimate sweat game.
And everybody was having fun with it. And then this competitive scene in Smash Brothers emerged, and now Smash Brothers is a toxic shithole. And it's the same.
There's always one guy who can't not win.
Yeah, I would guarantee you there is not a single, and this is a challenge to anybody who's actually still listening to the podcast 90 minutes in, but I challenge anybody to find me a single example of a multiplayer community that has survived without turning overly competitive about a video game. And
Counter-Strike, because it was always shit.
Oh, Counter-Strike's in their own little sex though, like like if you're in Go,
I can't think of a game less accessible than Counter-Strike. Like there's just no
yeah, it's kind of like the most hostile experience, especially like playing in the UK, because half your team ends up being Russian and then the other half ends up being French, and it's just like a whole bunch of
people who've learned Russian to play that game. Like they know the basic Russian commands.
Yeah. Rush B.
And then you're in one of those servers where it's like the long line, like Simon Says servers, and then you just I don't know what's happening, and then you're dead.
But anyway, bringing it back to Fall Guys. Fall Guys at the moment is in that honeymoon period where everybody's enjoying it, and it's a good thing. And I've played some games of Fall Guys, and even though I'm not a big fan of multiplayer as a rule of thumb, I've enjoyed it simply because everybody's enjoying it right now, and that's a good thing. But if you are going to give Fall Guys a go, I would recommend jumping on within the next month. The next month or so, because there will be a competitive scene that emerges. In fact, there is already a sense of it. I jumped on, I think it was yesterday, when I knew we were going to do this topic this week. I hadn't played for about 2 weeks, and I jumped on just to give it a go. And already you can see that there are people that are good at the game, which is counterintuitive to the rest of the thing.
Just come join me in Apex Legends and be miserable half the time.
No, generally, I tap out. I tap out of multiplayer games once people get good at them. Like once the community has a competitive edge to it, I just lose interest because
So after a week.
yeah, it's exhausting. Then I mean, Fall Guys is too bright and happy to have a serious edge, and yet people are going to take it seriously. It's the same as Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. It's
Yes,
not
it is. What are you talking about?
It's not a competitive game. It's a stupid thing that you play after 6 beers with friends, and you just swat the controller out of their hands so
Those
you get the win.
aren't necessarily exclusive.
They're not necessarily exclusive, but they are online. If you know what I mean. Like you can still enjoy. I still enjoy Smash Brothers locally, and if there was a way, to actually get like 60 friends together to play Fall Guys in a dedicated kind of group, then it would still be fun. But
wait, does Fall Guys support LAN? How awesome would that be?
That would be extremely awesome, actually. Just like set up two classrooms and just have 60 kids play at the same time.
Yeah, that kind of thing. That would work. That would still be fun. But yeah, when you dare to venture online, then the experience changes and quickly. And it's the same with Smash Brothers. You can't. It's just unplayable online. Not because of the technology. It's because the community is just shit.
Because of people like me who will try and spike you at every opportunity.
Spike you.
Yeah, and when you start categorizing the characters based on tiers and which character you should use, and there's like this ostracization if you use a character that's in a low tier, even if you enjoy the character more. Who gives a crap? Like, I'm pretty sure my favorite character is probably down the very bottom tier of Smash Brothers.
Kirby's like,
which is your favorite character?
Which is my favorite character? What?
Yeah, tell me which is your favorite character in Smash Bros. So I can tell you if he's low tier or high tier.
All right.
Well, for a start, you obviously don't know me that well if you say I would pick a male character, Alan.
Like I assume to be like Marth or something.
Is it Zero Suit Samus?
No, it's not Zero Suit Samus.
Right, I'll do mine first because Matt's really indecisive.
I like Robin.
Robin?
What? Fuck's sake.
Why?
Oh my god. Just like... I forgot that Robin was in the game.
Alright, I'll do mine. Mine are even more better. Alright, so I'm usually a young Link or a Link kind of guy, but if I'm going to play...
You're a zoning coward.
If I'm going to play as something else, I'm playing as Game & Watch or Rob.
Oh god, I hate you so much. You're the worst. I'm never playing with you.
Have you seen this YouTube channel where it's like what a Smash player is thinking, and it's literally just one person being like, if you name this character, you have this personality flaw. And he does it for every character.
I mean, I respect that because it's accurate a lot of the time. Yeah, no, basically I'm the sort of person who will ruin games because if it's not like efficient, then I don't want to ever play it. That's why I hate playing Overwatch, because people are inefficient. Every game should become a German sim, is what I'm trying to say.
I just got bored with Overwatch because Overwatch just became a competitive game again, and people got nasty. People got nasty about it, and it just it's too bright and colourful. Who cares? It's like I don't get esports as a thing. You may have noticed. I don't understand esports in that they're just games. They're not even they're not even worth getting serious about because they don't have any context beyond the competition, and it's just.
They definitely do, though.
They don't.
No. Have you seen a fighting game tournament that isn't Smash? Because I don't recommend ever watching Smash. Like, watch the Tekken tournament because, like, there's.
Yeah, but they all get elitist.
Between the players.
They all get elitist pricked about the fighting games that you play. So I'm a Dead or Alive fan. Ergo, everybody hates me. I mean,
that's because it's like
a different.
Just aggressively a tit game.
What's wrong with being a tit game?
Because it's not. You can't have just like. Remember when they announced like a stream of a fighting game tournament for DOA, and they just had two ladies with like their breasts out, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna like make our fighting game look like a normal thing," and they just had two ladies with their tits out, and I was like, "Okay, all right, can't watch this on like a TV on the train."
Why not?
Yeah, but you can't do that with Mortal Kombat. Like, you can't be like playing Mortal Kombat on
I also don't like watching Mortal Kombat either because it's an American fighting game and they don't tend to be very good.
Blood.
I mean, Mortal
Yeah,
Kombat's pretty
basically,
funny.
just watch Tekken because it's a whole bunch of Koreans and then like Swedish people and then it's like Americans who just are insane.
No, I
Like,
get that they're
He
good
has
at the
been playing
games.
Tekken for like 1,000 years, and I'm assuming that he like bleeds the same way that Heihachi does.
Also,
No, I
Matt
get.
Card isn't here, but I need to rep Guilty Gear and Blaze Blue and
Oh,
all
yeah.
those Japanese fighting games. Samurai Showdown, they're really good too. Watch them.
I like them. I like fighting games. Everybody knows that I like fighting games. What I don't get is people that take them that seriously, and that
Okay.
goes for pretty much every game. Like any game that you take that seriously as a competitive thing, just it confuses me. I think.
So there's a
That's the thing.
YouTuber, Matt, called Cosmonaut Variety Hour, and the way he described why you should get into fighting game tournaments and watching them is because it's the same concept as a like anime like tournament series. Like it's the same thing because you can follow the same player throughout the entire thing and watch them get better and better. And it's like really, really cool because you can do the same thing yourself. It's like it's actually really, really good. It's quite a good video. I would
It
actually
sounds like
recommend
a sport, Alan. It's like any sport.
Yeah, but like, it's good though. It's
Well, the
Tekken.
thing is that I get sport in the sense that sport is a health thing as well.
Yeah,
like-
Tekken is a way of life. Tekken has a man who got so mad that he punched a mountain in half and then laughed.
Tekken is a game that had a chance to do some fan service character and came up with Lucky Chloe.
That's because they were like, let's make a character that's Eddie Gordo that is somehow less likable than Eddie Gordo, and they did it.
I prefer Soul Calibur of the Bandai.
That's also like a
fighting
decent
games.
series. I think it's not as fun though, but that's just me. But anyway, Fall Guys though is a game.
Fall Guys, yes.
It is free still on. No, it won't be free anymore on PS Plus. But
Yeah, it is for now.
no, but like it won't be
Oh, by the time, yeah.
by the time the podcast goes up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
So if you didn't get it, soz.
I know, I need to get
You'll,
it.
you'll still be able to buy it. But the
Yeah,
thing
you
is, if you do buy it, then make sure you just play it for the next couple of weeks because it'll suck after that.
Yeah, it'll do that.
And they've already announced a season 2. Did you see that?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Is
It's
it in
making a shit.
the in
Very
the
aggressive about it.
This season crap, like the season passes, is just annoying me now. It's every game needs to have these seasons, and what's the season? It's just some extra costumes, right? Like it's
Basically, yeah.
it's a whole bunch of superficial crap. And this time around, their season is medieval things.
is it in
Exciting.
I think
Fortnite?
for a big game with like 60 players, it needs that to stay alive. Otherwise, they won't find matches. So they need to find a way to keep people interested. But yeah, it
Yeah.
does feel really artificial like that.
Yeah, I do get that they have. I mean, and it's they're copying the Fortnite formula, right? So Fortnite's obviously a success, and it's a success for a reason. And while it's definitely not my game, I don't begrudge it for its success. But yeah, I don't know. It's these kind of season things that they bug me.
It's stupid. Yeah, it's annoying. Anyway, I think we're gonna have to end it there because it's almost an hour and a half of recording, which is good.
It is
So,
a long podcast. Thanks for everybody for tuning in and listening. If you're still here, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be back next month, of course, and do that monthly podcast. Thanks for tuning, everyone.
We need to pick a song first to go out on. We need to go out on a bang. I think we should pick.
Miku Vangabas.
God, no. No, I will actually veto you.
What's a game that I've been playing this week that we can? Oh, get some music from Moon, Alan.
All right. Moon JRPG.
Yeah, find some music from Moon because I've been playing Moon and I didn't actually mention Moon on the podcast yet. Moon, it's great. Play Moon.